I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It is with great honor and privilege that I introduce to you someone who is an extraordinary, very accomplished young man that I have had the privilege of knowing for decades now. And there's so much we can say about him, and so I'm so thrilled that he can share just a little bit about his personal journey that he has put together in a book. And the name of the book is titled From Immigrant to Ambassador, My American Journey. And what a journey this gentleman has had. It's great to have with us the U.S. Ambassador to Spain and Andorra, retired Ambassador, my friend, Eduardo Aguirre. Thank you so much for being with us.
Laura, Dr. Laura Murillo, it is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. And there is so much to say. And I think especially in this day and age where your story can resonate with so many people, something that has absolutely only in America, as you love to say, could something like this so extraordinary occur? So I want to start with your immigration journey before we get into so much more. Let's start there. Tell us about that, please.
Well, Laura, at the age of 15, I left Cuba without my family. It's what the immigration attorneys call an unaccompanied minor. Cuba was going through difficult political times, and my parents wanted me to come to America and live in freedom. So I left at 15. I went through some difficulties, probably like most immigrants go through difficulties. I was cared for by the Catholic Church, and they sent me to an orphanage in the New Orleans area, which was run by very bad religious people. There were child molesters and such, and it was a bad experience. Fortunately, I was not molested, but I witnessed things like that, and it made me a better person as I am today. I reunited with my parents a couple of years after they were able to leave Cuba. My brother left a little after I did, and I met a beautiful Cuban girl in New Orleans. We've been married 57 years. I graduated from college. You know, probably the most difficult part was English. I didn't speak any English. Obviously, I had no money as a 15-year-old, but I survived, and not only survived, I think I thrived.
Absolutely, you did. And I've known you in different roles, if you will, throughout your magnificent career. Everything from banking to the University of Houston, your community work as ambassador. You and I have had the opportunity to represent Houston globally. And so for someone like myself who is an admirer of yours, a fan, if you will, and someone who absolutely uh, understands just how difficult it must have been for all of these doors to open for you and what you had to do to make sure you were ready when those doors did open. So I want to start with your career as a very successful banker. Talk to us about that.
Well, thank you. You know, I started banking as a teller when I was going through school and running a computer operation at the bank. But when I graduated from Louisiana State University, LSU, I was recruited by Texas Commerce Bank here in Houston. And Texas Commerce Bank is now JP Morgan Chase. But I started in their training program, and I went through 34 years of banking, not only with Texas Commerce Bank, but a number of other banks after that. Ultimately, I retired from Bank of America as the president of the International Private Bank globally for Bank of America. And it's been a great run. I love the banking world. In fact, after I came back from ambassador, I was able to do 14 years on the board of a bank called BBVA. So altogether, I've had a 50-year run in banking, both as an executive and in the governance side. It's been a great run. I enjoyed it, and and it allowed me to do things. And I know we're going to talk about it. Allow me to do things later in the government world.
Yes, and in the community. So as we look today at Houston and we look at the Greater Houston Partnership, we look at the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the rodeo. You were a first in so many of these different entities. And so your public service goes hand in hand, I believe, with your private sector work as a first at the table, making sure that we were represented not only at the local level, at the national level, and internationally. So let's talk a little bit about you being the first as an example as chairman of the Go Tejano Committee.
Sure. Well, my parents ran a foster home for Cuban kids when I was finishing school. And their dedication inspired me to public service. And the Bank of America, encouraged me and allowed me to do my public service duty as I saw it. So, yes, I was the first chairman of the Go Tejano Committee of the Livestock Show and Rodeo. Uh, Probably the most successful operation of the rodeo today, certainly the most successful day of the rodeo any given year. And why did I do that? Because of scholarships for Hispanic kids. For 28 years, I have been on the board of Texas Children's Hospital. And that is something that is a passion for me because the health of our children, certainly in the Houston community, but around the world, is something that is very important to me. And as you know, I'm now a lifetime director, wouldn't you know it? Lifetime director of the rodeo and an emeritus director of the Greater Houston Partnership. So, yeah, public service is important to me, and I enjoy it. Most importantly, my family has allowed me to get away from them and do public service.
Yes, and I know your wife Tere has been key to your success and has been your biggest cheerleader in all that you've done. And in one very important role that you've had has been your service to the nation that has taken you out of Houston and kept you very occupied in a variety of different roles and your personal relationship with former Presidents Bush. So let's talk about that journey, if you would.
Well, when I was in my banking career, George Herbert Walker Bush, the father, we call him Bush 41, was leaving government at that moment. Jimmy Carter became president, and then Ambassador Bush became a member of the board at the bank that I was in. And through my interface with him many, many times during the month, he took a liking to me. He and Barbara invited Tere and I to go to dinner at their home a number of times. And so when he left the bank to run for president against Ronald Reagan and later became Ronald Reagan's vice president, he asked me to be his private banker. So for 18 years, I was George and Barbara Bush's private banker. He said at the end that I was a friend of the family. So that friendship with the Bush family allowed me to get to know George W. Bush, 43. So when he was governor, he appointed me to the Board of Regents at the University of Houston. And as you know, I became chairman of the board of the University of Houston. And when he went to be the president of the United States, he asked me to go up to Washington, and I served for 8 years in both his terms. First, I was the head of the Exim Bank, the Export Import Bank of the United States. Later, the Department of Homeland Security was created, and I became the head of United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. It's called USCIS, and that is the service side of immigration, not the law enforcement side of immigration. There I ran a team of 15,000 employees, and we processed about 7 million applications each year. Then President Bush got reelected, and he asked me to go to Spain and become the ambassador to Spain and also to the small country of Andorra that sits right between Spain and France. Great experience, one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Well, and certainly for our community, your story is one that is inspirational, motivational, and is one we should share with others, including our children, to see what you and your family have accomplished, because you not only have a phenomenal wife, but an extraordinary family with very accomplished individuals. And so, Ambassador, on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Houston, I want to say thank you for all you've done for this great country. And I want to also encourage everyone to purchase his book. And the name of the book again is From Immigrant to Ambassador: My American Journey by Eduardo Aguirre. Ambassador, you've been a true friend. I'm so thankful for all you've done for me personally. So on that note, we wish you continued blessings. Thank you.
Laura, thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you and with your audience. It's been a treat. Let's do it again.